Hi there, this is Rob at Andertons TV. I'm here today to talk about the Native Instruments Traktor Kontrol S5 and D2. For starters, this is a very small and sleek unit. So looking at it, it's about the same size as the S4, if you're familiar with it, for the 4 channels on the front. So if you're looking at it, the only main differences you've seen is that there's no jog wheels. They've replaced them with full colour screens. So this is great, it means you can step away from the computer. This is the same as goes with this unit here. Obviously you've got slightly different changes, which we'll go through later. So obviously the main differences you'll see in here, you've got main XLR out at the back, which is great. Really good to get into the main club systems when you turn up. You've got your effects on top, which is controlled by the screens, which I can go through and show you like so. All the different features on top of there. Another thing to remember with these is that it is all controlled from a touch strip at the bottom. So that is something you may not have seen on previous models, purely because it is the equivalent of a jog wheel. So the jog wheel's been replaced, you've got your touchpad at the bottom. So people may have seen the S8, which is the bigger brother to this essentially, which has got all the bells and whistles, faders and things like that, but it's a bit of a beast. It's a much wider unit. This allows you to actually take this into a club setup without worrying about the pure size of an S8. Moving over to the D2 before we get into a bit more of the detail. It's essentially one of the cheeks of the S8. So you've got all of your pads across the bottom, faders to bring in and out parts of your stems, and then obviously filters per stem. This one here can actually be changed per deck. So I can move left and right, so use A. I can use B or so on to C across there. This is great if you really want to use it for just a standalone. Not everyone will do because it's a little bit more of a cliche, but it's great to use alongside other units. So if I was going to use this with a Z2 mixer, perfect. If I wanted to use this with a few of the X1s, the F1s, again, that makes it a bit more modular, which is great for people to use on the go. So let's get into the actual mixer of it. It's very, very simple. So 4 faders, one per channel, crossfader in the middle. So each channel's got a dedicated filter. Something which they've added which is really good is actually on or off filter, which is very similar to the sort of Pioneer desks you get, so the DJM 800s, having the switch on or off, which is great. So if you're bringing a track in or out, you haven't got to worry about independent wheels being on or off. For the middle section here, which is a really good feature, is the actual auxiliary. So I control this all the way through, which means I can take in an RCA input or a actual microphone. So this means it's not strictly a DVS system, but you could use a timecode vinyl on a record player or even a CDJ and run that through into the unit itself, and then that will work with Traktor Scratch Pro. This is obviously dependent if you've got it. This doesn't come with Scratch Pro, but if you've got it, it's a nice little workaround. Obviously there's a mic input as well, so people out there who are doing singer-songwriters, electronic-based stuff can really harness the the strength of stems and using all of their backing tracks and run their vocals through the unit with an effect. Let's have a look at the left-hand side of the unit. Effects on top, 4 different buttons to engage different parts. You've got your settings, really easy, BPM and then the key. You've also got different views there, so I can see my remix decks beneath. If I look actually at my remix decks pads, I can see which ones are there and which ones I can play. I've got my hot cues, really, really simple. Freeze mode is allowing you to beat juggle essentially alongside the track. Obviously having flux mode engaged allows you to really get in and play with the track without actually moving the start and the end point. So looking back at the remix decks, it's really self-explanatory. You can launch the ones which are lit. If I'm talking about the stems, for example, I can actually adjust the volumes by holding down one pad and twisting the left encoder, or holding down all 4 and then adjusting it again. The same applies for the filters. So I can hold all 4, let go, and then adjust my filters on and off, click it on, click it off. Super easy, really fun to use. Difference being between this unit and that one, this has got faders. This one doesn't. This allows you to do more dynamic punches. I can hit these in and out like so, allowing for a slightly more dynamic performance. Not to say this isn't dynamic, this has slightly more control. So fader up, fader down, filter on, filter off, adjust as so. Very, very similar. Main differences you'll see is obviously this is feet, everyone likes some feet. This one is completely one side. If I want to use this by itself, that's not a problem. You'll need a sound card or whatever you want to hook it up to your computer, but you can in fact use it left and right. So I can have it so on the left, so on the right, control with one unit, which is a nice way to do it. I personally recommend using 2 of these with a Z2 mixer. Really good little setup. So that's pretty much it. If you need any more information, obviously check out the links below. You can go to andertons.co.uk. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, all the good things like that. Of course, come into store. Check us out in Guildford. My name is Rob, and you've been watching Andertons TV. Thank you very much.